please join me in welcoming Miho Noguchi, who will be sharing her insights on when a brand comes alive, creating emotional brand experiences through live events. Miho, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Allie. That was an incredibly gorgeous introduction, and I am so humbled and honored to share the stage with her. Good evening, everyone. I'm Miho Noguchi. First, I would like to congratulate all the recipients of the awards, and also to those of you who are going to receive yours after my presentation. I really look forward to seeing you here on the stage. Now, so as Allie mentioned, I'm a speaking professional in the event industry, hosting, moderating, and sometimes giving keynotes like this. And in the past 20 years of the experience, I've been very fortunate to work with world's leading global brands in Japan and around the world. And also, I have witnessed the very moment when a brand becomes something more than just a logo on the screen or just a product on the shelf. But they became a very memorable moment that many people will remember for years and years to come. I really would like to invite you tonight to what I've just seen, how top brands in the world carefully craft their live events to turn their potential customers into really avid fans who will talk about your brands without you asking them to do so. And it's going to be a very interesting insight, I suppose, and I really would like to know if you are interested in knowing what I have to tell you tonight. Yes? Okay, thank you so much. Yes, so I truly believe that every single brand in this room has the ability to create these moments when the brand comes alive and your customers becomes your loyal fans. And I believe that every single brand in this room have the same ability to do the same. And your audience will lean in and pays attention to every word and every detail, and then you are going to profit so much from their loyalty in the long run. So, to do that, I first would like to ask you to do me a favor. Let's get in a little time machine with me and go back to the year 2020. Where were you? What were you doing? Do you remember? Oh, that year, 2020. Oh my goodness. Yes, the COVID hit the planet like a freight train. And all the businesses were in a quagmire, wondering what to do to survive. And my industry, event industry, was affected severely overnight. It went flatline and all gone. But for me personally, 2020, スライドお願いいたします。was a very significant year because for over a decade, my husband and I had been going under infertility treatment, but we could not conceive, and we almost gave up. But then this year, we welcomed our daughter when she was only 2 weeks old through adoption. And my journey as a parent started in 2020. So that was a very significant year. And honestly, it was the perfect timing to be raising a kid. And I did not worry about work at all. all I worried about was how to get through this COVID with a baby and figure out this whole parenting thing that I had wanted to do for a long time. But after a couple of months, I got a call from this company. お願いします。Nissan. And they said they needed me to present their pre-recorded global launch of a new electric car called Aria. And I have to tell you, I was so conflicted because it was in the middle of the COVID and I had to be with the team in the production project for over a week. I could still go back home, but I was really afraid that something could happen to my family just because I was traveling to a big city of Yokohama. But I was really curious about this project because I kept thinking, how is a global automotive giant going to launch a new product when the entire world is literally closed and people cannot touch the car or go anywhere, experience anything? And that fascination won out, and I said yes. So we shot this entire launch under incredibly strict COVID protocol, and they put the company executives and the designers and the engineers and the marketing managers on camera in the front, in the center. And I acted as a presenter, and it took us days and hours of doing all over again because we needed to memorize everything. And we filmed 2 versions of the exact same production to be live streamed on YouTube later. Anyway, so it was a very crafted, fully scripted production. But what was fascinating was that the structure of the launch wasn't like, hey, here's the details, here are the specs, and here's the price, and this is where you can buy it. No, but it was the human beings telling their story of what they built and why they built it and what they loved about it and how they hoped this new product will change the world. So the launch was a great success and watched by millions around the world. And the lesson learned here really sticks in my heart. When a PC screen was the only way we had to connect with the customers, when we couldn't meet the face-to-face, and all of the unusual event tools and tricks were completely taken away from us, what actually worked was storytelling. And since then, storytelling became a buzzword. You probably see this word showing up in your marketing decks, every strategy presentation, and they say, tell your story, connect with the audience, be authentic. Those are the phrases that we hear a lot now. And we all know storytelling is important. But here's what I want to clarify tonight. There's a little bit of a confusion when it comes to giving a good story. It could be, maybe in your mind, they say, you might think, oh, okay, so I have to hire an incredibly powerful CEO who can wow our audience. Or it has to be a perfectly rehearsed speech and perfectly choreographed as well. The storytelling I'm talking about is the unscripted moments that happen during a live event. Moments no one planned for, but that create connection in ways no perfect speech could ever do because they were real and spontaneous and very human. And I'm talking about moments in things like a fireside chat or a panel discussion where real humans on the stage interact and give their stories and connect with the audience. And that's something that only live events can create. And so these are the magical storytelling moments that only live events can create. So I assume that you would like to do the same, right? Yes. If you are going to organize your next live event, you need to be very, very careful how to craft it. It's not just about the fancy lightings or visuals or entertainers. You have to craft what kind of message you want to communicate across during the event. So, let me give you two specific examples. The moments that I personally embrace and still remember as perfect examples of the storytelling magic. All right. Now here's the first one. I was moderating a panel for Shiseido at their major global event. And on stage with me, there were two researchers in the white lab coats. And they've been sharing scientific facts and skincare research findings. That was quite groundbreaking, but very specific and technical. So I was thinking, the audience cannot connect with this presentation very well if they cannot feel what it means to them, what the findings mean to them. And so I was thinking, and I asked them this question: do you remember how you felt the day when you discovered this groundbreaking research result? And the one researcher started explaining how this finding could impact human health far beyond skincare, and how it could affect overall wellness and the quality of life for millions of people. The other researcher agreed with a smile, and they looked at each other, and there was this spark in that moment that deeply resonated with the audience. They were thinking, oh my gosh, so these guys are real humans behind the products they are showcasing today. And they really care about us. And they not just about our skin or beauty, but about our entire health. So the entire room felt it, and we saw the real humans behind Shiseido's products who cared deeply about the audience. That was just enough to create this fidelity that connected people emotionally. And that was when a brand comes alive, not in the data of PowerPoint slides, but in that unscripted moment between two people who shared something very, very authentic. And now let me take you to another example. Next slide, please. Onegaishimasu. And this was at the Expo 2025 that I mentioned earlier. And I was hosting an event by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia Pavilion. And one of the panel was a female anthropologist from Saudi Arabia. She began by acknowledging the elephant in the room. So, what kind of image do we have about Saudi women? Well, the fact is they could not drive cars until 2018. So we have this conventional image that Saudi women are really conservative, and the entire country must be very strict. But what she showed us was a picture of women, very, very real. The pictures were from decades ago, long time ago. And they showed the pictures of the women being strong, essential, and they were making a living in the desert, and they were also driving. The world just didn't see it or know without her presentation. And the audience in the room was blown away. I was blown away. And that really completely changed the mindset about the country. We all thought, oh my gosh, these ladies are just like us. That's when a national brand comes alive. Saudi Arabia was successfully able to rebrand their image. And that was a moment when people saw past the surface and connected with the human underneath. So, these two moments just that I described are the perfect examples of the magic the power of live events can create. And here's the beauty of this. You cannot script these moments or rehearse them. But what you can do is to create the conditions that allow them to emerge naturally when you do things right. And that's exactly what I need to help you to understand, because there are 3 specific questions I would like to ask you if you want to craft a perfect live event experience that will enhance your brand for a long time. So let me walk you through these questions. ではお願いします。次は、はい。Question number 1. Emotional goals. The first question is, how do we want to make our audience feel? Before even thinking about hiring a venue or allocating your budget, how do you want your guests to feel at your event? Notice I'm not asking, what do we want to sell? Or what information do we need to give them? I'm asking specifically about the emotion, about the feeling, because that's what people remember and what drives their behavior as they leave the venue. When you're crystal clear on this one emotion, every other detail becomes easier. Who will speak? What format do we use? Like, do we have a panel discussion or fireside chat? What story should we tell? And how should the room be set up? And all that becomes clear when you know what emotion you're designing for. And the next question, is there any human cast correctly aligned with the brand narrative? What I'm saying here is, if you decide on the emotions that you would like to create in your guests, all the members on the stage, the speakers, even the CEOs, and all the entertainers, or even interpreters if you're going to hire ones, they need to know the feelings that you would like to create in the customers and the guests. If you're working with an event producer, you can share their concept with all the players on the stage and with the entire team. And make sure every single person understands it deeply enough that they can embody it. So, here's what I see happen a lot at events. A brand creates a beautiful, emotionally resonant video at the beginning of the event. And then the speaker takes the stage, but their presence doesn't match the brand story, or the MC's energy is wrong, or the interpreter sounds boring when the content is supposed to inspire. So the goal is seamlessness. No matter where you cut into the event experience, it should feel coherent with the same narrative, all serving that one emotional goal. So please ask yourself, have you communicated that emotional goal clearly to everyone involved? And is every human on that stage, their tone, their energy, and their presence consistent with the story you are trying to tell? And the final question, the third question is, what action do you want the guests to take? Now, let me share something fascinating from neuroscience that explains why this question is very important. There's a researcher named Paul Zak. スライドを次のお願いします。He's a neuroscientist who studies what happens in our brains when we hear compelling stories. And what he discovered is that when people experience authentic emotional storytelling, their brains release two key chemicals, cortisol, which increases focus and attention, and oxytocin, which creates empathy and trust. But here's the crucial part that most people don't know. Oxytocin doesn't just create connection. It makes people want to act, take action. His research shows that when oxytocin is released in the brain, people are 47% more likely to take action on what they just experienced. And so think about that. You've just created a powerful emotional experience through your live events. Your audience's brains are totally primed up to take the next action. But if you don't show them what to do, actually, they feel disconnected and they will not come back to take their action anymore. So please ask yourself, after they leave the event, what kind of action do you want them to take? It could be, please speak to our nearest agent for our product details, or scan this QR code and connect with us and sign up for our newsletter. It could be anything, but you have to clearly walk them through the action that you want them to take. So let's recap. Because I know I've shared a lot with you tonight, I want to go over it again. So when you're planning your next event, live event, don't just sit down with your team and ask, what do we want to say, or what announcements do we need to make, or what kind of dinner we should serve. You could always plan that later. But instead, please ask these questions that we've just talked about tonight. Number one, what is the one emotion that you want them to feel? And number two, is every person on the stage aligned with your narrative, the story? And number three, what action do you want them to take after the event? Answer these questions clearly and honestly, and you're gold. And lastly, I would like to leave you with this one final thought. This World Branding Awards ceremony tonight is actually a perfect example of everything I've just talked about. These accolades you are receiving weren't built purely on numbers or the sales or any marketing strategies. They were built on the emotions that you have worked for so many years to create in your customer's mind. And those hundreds of small moments of connection and authenticity have paid off. Your brand story may be invisible in your daily lives, but live events designed with authentic storytelling, you can do that. You can implant your core value, why you do your business, and live events are the perfect medium. That can be found in the air in the room, the voices on the stage, the faces of the real people, the unexpected moments no one planned. All that conveys your brand soul in the ways no advertising campaign ever could. So, if you are going to plan your next event in 2026, you know what action to take? Please ask your team or anybody in the design or in the production department these 3 questions. And thank you so much for your time tonight. And once again, congratulations to all the recipients of the World Branding Awards. Thank you so much.